UFC 248. What a great night of fights and betting. Did you listen to me? Let's get into it. What's up, everybody? Rant Rich here. Back with another one. So very excited about this one. Had a great night, 100%. 3 out of 3. The parlay hit. Neil Magny hit, beating an underdog. And it's funny because after I did the show, I posted it. Once in a while, I'll go back and see what other YouTubers and other pickers, professional analysts, analyze the fight, how they think it's going to go. A lot of people were against Neil Magny. Didn't really understand. Vegas was against him. If you guys listen to Joe Rogan and the other commentators, DC and I think it was John Anik, they also felt the same way. I heard nothing of this before, but I just looked. And when I see odds, a lot of times I'll zoom in on a fighter that just shouldn't be. Something's out of place. So that's usually when I tend to jump on fighters. And I'm going to have a video coming out very soon. I actually already discussed this on my last video. Just more tips on betting on MMA. How I do it. I'm going to show you guys exactly step by step how I get my picks, why I'm 100%, why I'm doing so great, why I'm on fire for the last, 3 or 4 events. And I don't want to sound cocky because I'm a very humble guy, but right is right, and everybody listening to me and subscribe to the channel and supporting the channel and giving me likes on my videos, you guys are benefiting. So I hope you guys stick around. So without further ado, let's get into the results of UFC 248. All right, so let's start with the first fight. This was actually on the early prelims. Batgarel takes on Canetti. Batgarel wins by KO TKO. Moving on to Jija versus Emmers. Jija wins by decision. Moving on to the regular prelims, we have Gerald versus Win. Gerald wins by submission. He actually looked pretty good. Win was really throwing a lot of heat, a lot of power, but I think he started to get winded a little bit. And then Gerald, can't really pronounce his last name, so call him Gerald. He really came through and did what he had to do to win, and that was by submission, so he looked really good. Safarov versus Vera. Vera wins by submission in the first round, looked really good. Safarov had some steam in the beginning, but Vera just really dominated and showed why I guess he was a minus 650. Madsen versus Hubbard. Madsen wins by decision on that one. O'Malley, Quinones. O'Malley looked great after that long layoff. I was actually iffy on him. On DraftKings, I took Quinones just because he was such a great price for that. And I thought that O'Malley was a little overhyped in the past, but I think O'Malley, just like Conor McGregor and some of the other stars, his confidence is so high that he got through any bugs or anything that was really going to hold him back. He got through like a professional fighter should, and he got it done in dominant fashion. He wins by KO TKO in the first round. So let's move on to the juicy stuff. This is the main card. We had Oliveira versus Griffin. Oliveira wins impressively by decision. He was the minus 145 favorite, so he wasn't too high up there. Griffin did look good at certain times, but Oliveira just showed his experience and showed why he should be the favorite in that one. Neil Magny versus Li Jingliang. Now, if you guys watched my pick show, you know that I took Magny. I was all over him at the beginning of the week, even towards the end of the week. The whole entire was consistent. I said these lines look wrong. Actually, I'm reading this right now. He says he's a plus 145. I actually got him at a plus 155, so that was great. He looked fantastic. At the beginning, Li Jingliang looked like, I guess, somewhat like the superior fighter, but then he just faded, and you can't mess around with Neil Magny. His cardio, his volume, his reach. He knows how to throw everything together and get those decision wins. That's exactly what I said. I don't think he's the most exciting fighter, but he looked great, and I can't complain. He won the fight for me in dominant fashion. So got to give it up. Thumbs up to Neil Magny. And congratulations to you guys that listened to me and took him as well. So moving on to the next fight, and I also like this one, Dariush and Close. I took Dariush. Dariush wins. This was a little shaky, a little scary. Close was looking really, really good. Dariush in that first round went for that rear naked choke. He was climbing his back, and then it had me nervous because I know, and most people know, and Joe Rogan even said his legs are gonna be shot at the end of the round because he couldn't sink that rear naked choke in all the way. got very nervous. Even on when he was sitting on the stool, they had been putting ice and rubbing it and stuff like that. I'm like, oh man, please don't tell me this is the fight. But Dariush is a monster. He's a beast. He came out there, he got rocked, and in the midst of getting rocked, he ends up clipping close. Some call it a lucky punch. I just call it technique and heart. He had a lot of heart in this fight, and he ends up getting the KO TKO win. Very, very impressive by Dariush. I told you guys, I'm high on Dariush. He was somewhat of a high favorite. I think he was around, let me see, a minus 170, around that. Still, didn't matter. I parlayed him. Let's get into the next fight. So this is actually the co-main event. We have Wei versus John Jacek. You guys know I have trouble with her name too, so I'm just gonna call her Wei. You know exactly who I'm talking about, but she wins by decision. What a nasty, mean fight. This takes the cake. Was this fight of the night? I don't know what the UFC did, but I say this is fight of the night for sure. These two women went at it non-stop. Pressure, getting hit. Look at Joanna's forehead. Seriously, I mean, I had jokes all night about that one. Aside from the comical aspect of it, you gotta just think, she was hurt. I mean, she was hurt and kept going forward. Wei was hurt and kept going forward. Wei's cardio definitely wasn't as strong as Joanna John Jacek's, and she kept going forward till the end. And it very, very impressive. I mean, Joe Rogan was talking about it. I know I keep bringing up his name, but yeah, he was announcing and he was talking about how great this fight. I completely agree. I don't always agree with the Joe Rogan and the things that he says, but I completely agree with him. And one of the best fights I've ever seen. Seriously, they were talking about John Jones and Alexander Gustafsson back and forth. Don't know who won until the end of the fight, of course. But this was up there with it. And these are two small women going at it. I guess it really doesn't matter at the end of the day. Heart for days. Could have went either way. I'm glad Wei got it, of course, because I did pick her. I put her on the parlay with Dariush. So those were my three fighters. All three fighters hit. Now, I know I didn't take the main event, and I felt funny about it. And I want to get into it for a second, though. Yoel Romero versus Israel Adesanya. What did you guys think about the fight? Who do you think won, actually? Comment down below. Let me know. I think the judges had it right. I think Israel Adesanya barely won, but I think he did win. Very, very uneventful fight. I think the UFC making excuses. I know Dana White on the post-fight conference, he had said something about he did what he had to do to win. So you could say that, but my issue with it really is that Israel Adesanya called out Yoel Romero. Romero's chilling in Cuba somewhere or down in Florida or whatever, training, probably thinking about a different opponent. But the champion calls out Yoel Romero. You have to go at him. You can't just sit there and wait and say, oh, I did what it took to win. Yoel wasn't honored this fight. He was called out by Israel Adesanya, and he's the champ, so he got what he wanted. So he's got to perform. It can't just be about your resume. If you win a fight by decision, people are going to remember this fight. It's going to go down in history. I mean, people can also go back and watch the fight and see how boring it was and how lackluster their performance was. It just doesn't make any sense to me to call somebody out knowing somebody isn't really the next guy up, and then you're gonna sit there and wait for him to perform. Doesn't make much sense to me. I don't know, but I will say Dana White was right in saying that Adesanya Costa fight should be exciting because Israel Adesanya is the type of guy that needs somebody to come forward. Yoel Romero, literally, you guys saw him. He was just standing there in the first round. Very bizarre. I'm not surprised Yoel Romero has had some bizarre fights and done some bizarre things in the octagon. But he needs somebody to really pressure him and come forward. I think that's where he really shines. So, not making any excuses for Israel Adesanya. I think his performance was just below par. I think he should have done a lot more. I think the whole resume thing is cool, but just imagine if he really put his heart and soul into it and took him out, knocked him out, did something that not many fighters can do or have ever done before to Yoel Romero. So, I don't know. That was odd. As far as Yoel goes, you guys have seen the videos. I think he's cheated in the past. I think that he's a very bizarre fighter. I know how heavy his hands are. I know he could shut the lights out at any given time. I understand that. But, you know, it's not to say he should hang it up, but his next fight that comes, and I'm pretty sure he has another fight on his contract, he needs to perform. He needs to go after it and get it. If he wants to, he claims he wants to fight till like 50, 51, something like that. He's got to do better next time. All in all, the whole event was pretty good, except for that main event. But what did you guys think? Again, let me know. Comments down below, engage. I'm curious to see how you guys did. I'm really curious to see how often you guys are listening. I know I'm getting some views on here, and that's great. I've been doing this show for a long time, and it's never really exploded. Again, I've seen other channels explode, and hate to say it, not to hate, but a lot of their picks are wrong.
Ooh, faced. Scratch mode.
So, I don't know, keep sticking with me, keep supporting the channel. If you liked this video or found it useful, please hit that like button. If you haven't already, subscribe. You're a little late, but go ahead, hit that subscribe button. And that's all I got for today. So, until next time, Rant Rich here, signing out from sunny SoCal. I'm out of here. Laters.